Paulo argues against my teaching that if you give money, God will bless you with money. And he's saying the apostles, they were not blessed. They were not rich. They were poor. And he points out when Peter and John went to the gate called Beautiful, they had no money to give to the beggar. And so what Paulo is saying is they were not successful, rich, prosperous men. But he has failed to understand that Christ promised the hundredfold blessing if they would surrender everything to him. It's not me that promises it. It's the Lord that did. So here in Mark chapter 10, verse 30, Jesus said in verse 29, no one who has left home or brothers or sisters or mother or father or children or fields for me and the gospel will fail to receive 100 times as much in, what does he say, in this present age and in the age to come, eternal life, and with them persecution. So I asked Paulo, did they have persecution? Well, yeah, they had persecution. Then why didn't they get 100 times back? But notice, Jesus doesn't simply say money. He says homes, brothers, sisters. In other words, there are many different ways that we give, but we're going to receive 100 times back in this present age. And God promised it to Peter. God promised it to the apostles. And here's proof. They were hugely successful in their life. They built hundreds of churches all around Europe and Asia. And here's my question. What would it cost to build hundreds of churches? Well, it would cost tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to do this. And you're telling me God did not bless them with favor and success? He sure did. But what Paulo is thinking, he's thinking money in terms of dollars and cents and coins. But there's different kinds of wealth that you get. There, for example, in our church, the two biggest sources of wealth is first, people's personal giving, but second, their volunteering and serving the church. Do you realize how much money the church is getting with in-kind contributions? That is, they're contributing in ways that would cost the church hundreds of thousands of dollars if we didn't have volunteers. So think about it. The apostles established churches. They had boats. They had food. People were supplying them, and they were able to build these churches, have elders. But a lot of these people were working as volunteers. And that is in-kind contribution. That is prosperity too. So it's not just money in terms of dollar bills. It's money in terms of any sort of wealth that you might get. Peter left his fishing business, but his ministry was hugely successful. He was one of the most famous people in all of Rome. Even Nero, who ended up martyring him and crucifying him upside down, he acknowledged his threat. He saw how powerful he had become. This is the idea of a hundredfold. But Paulo is making a serious mistake. He's thinking only in terms of dollars and bills and coins. No, God will bless you, but he'll bless you in hugely different ways. And I've seen that happen. So when people come out, for example, on Mondays and they clean the church, you realize by all these volunteers cleaning the church, we're saving hundreds of dollars. If I hired a cleaning team to come in from a secular source, I would be paying hundreds of dollars every single week to have the church clean. But these volunteers do it. This is also a source of wealth. What I'm trying to tell Paulo, quit focusing on dollars and cents and whether or not Peter had a big mansion. He had a big house already, but he surrendered it to the Lord and followed the Lord. And do you understand? And God had blessed him, and God blessed all the apostles. That's why they were hugely successful. It is God that says you will not fail to receive 100 times back in this present age. If you gave homes. If you gave up your brothers and sisters, you're going to get new brothers and sisters. Whatever you've given up, you're going to get it back. Because whatever you sow, you shall reap. So I want to tell Paulo and everybody else that God will bless you, but it doesn't necessarily mean in dollars and cents. It doesn't mean that you're going to have a dollar or a $5 bill. It means that God may give you favor, give you first-class seating on an airplane that would cost a lot of money, but you didn't have to pay for it. You see, this is an in-kind blessing. So, in fact, I would say this. Most of God's blessings that he gives us, even material blessings, is not in the form of money. It's actually in the form of other things, favor and blessings and doors of opportunity being open to you. So, to Paulo. Did God bless the apostles? You bet he did. How would they be able to be so successful and build so many churches and change the entire Roman world so that everyone had heard of the Christian faith? You can only do this if the hand of favor is on you. So yes, Peter, James, John, all the apostles, they were blessed just as the Lord said they would be blessed. And you'll be blessed the same way when you give up anything for the sake of God's kingdom.